and welcome back to another Ivy Grove video. My name is Meg Birch and today we are continuing our interview series by speaking to the amazingly talented guitarist that is Pete Honore, also known as Danish Pete. Now Pete has been a guitarist for many years. He's played for the likes of Tom Jones, El Divo, Nicole Scherzinger, just to name a few. But in 2015, Pete also got involved with the Andertons YouTube channel. Now, if you haven't heard of Andertons, Andertons is a world-renowned, famous guitar shop here in the UK. And they branched out into YouTube, Pete got on board, and now the channel has got 715,000 subscribers. Pete gets recognised on the street. Pete's life has changed by being involved in this YouTube channel. So today it's going to be really interesting to chat to him about how that was all created, but also his time working in the industry, what he's up to now, and what his future plans are. So I hope you find this interesting. Stay tuned, because here's the interview. How are you?
Hey, Meg, how are you doing?
Good
to see you. It's been ages.
It has been a little while since I've seen you last time. I have explained to everyone who you are. So, Pete Honore and what you do and what sort of thing. But can you, in your own words, just kind of describe to the people watching, like, what's a normal week for you? What have you done in the past? What are you all about?
That could be a very long segment of the video there. I'm not a young spring chicken anymore, and I have been around the block a few times. But you know, I'm Danish. You know, despite people saying where are you from, Danish Pete, and going, are you from Holland? And I go, capital of Copenhagen is Amsterdam. All of that stuff, I get it. It's all there. So I started when I was 11 years old playing guitar. I picked it up and played it, and he was like, oh, you can play guitar. No, I can't, but here's a chord, and I just picked it up really quickly. And I never really put it down since. First gig when I was 12, started the band then, and had gigs from 13, you know, with my friends at school. And I went to a really cool, tiny private school. Where there was a music room, and I think because we were only like 50 students in like 10 years, it's different in Denmark, but they would just give me the keys to the music room and go play drums and bass and everything. So I could just develop myself. And then, you know, just started playing gigs, and I lived in a small town. When I was older, I moved to Copenhagen and went to jam nights and lived there for a week, and I had my first gig there, and just out hanging out with people and playing guitar and having a good time. I always had a job. I worked in a kindergarten, you know, I was a postman. I worked in a warehouse and all sorts of things. So I could play gigs, you know, and not worry about actually making money, because it was more for me just playing the guitar and making music. And then in 2002, maybe something like that, you know, I met some guys and did some gigs and started maybe touring a bit with a Danish boy band. And we went to Bangkok and did some stuff. Met the tour manager for Aqua, who was doing some stuff for René Diff, the guy who was, you know, come on, Bobby, that guy who was making his own album, completely random. And he had a guy over from, a drummer over from England to do his album. And this guy, Alex, asked me, you know, this guy needs a guitar player, do you want to go and do it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, you know, put my guitar on. Yeah. Went down to the Gary to play some guitar, and he was like, oh, that's really cool, man. If I ever have a gig in the UK, do you want to come do it? I was like, yep. And then 2003, I got my gig over in the UK. Brit Awards with Tom Jones, huge deal for someone that is like a small, you know, I did sort of, what is it? You know, Pop Stars? Do you remember Pop Stars?
I do, yeah. And then there was the Rivals.
Yeah, I mean, we had Pop Stars in Denmark, and I did some stuff with them, and you know, I was flying around in a harness, flying around doing twirls with that's a different story. Lots of stuff, and that's how kind of I got into doing festivals and some of the bigger gigs in Denmark, and then ended up in the UK. And after we did that thing with Tom Jones on, you met him? You met him. He's
Met Tom, yeah.
He's a dude. He just asked me back, Gary, and then it was like Atomic Kid in 2004, my first proper tour with a tour bus in arenas, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? You know, this is for Danish.
Living in Denmark at this point, though.
I was I was coming back and forth.
Wow.
Because a plane is what, an hour and a half, so it's not.
Yeah.
And a ticket cost, well, then it didn't cost much, and they would just arrange taxi from the airport and a hotel.
When you're on the road as much as you are, you don't need a base, do you? You're just here, there, anyway.
No, and you got, I didn't have any dependents then, it was I had a girlfriend in Denmark, but it wasn't, I really wanted to do this. So I just thought, if you get an opportunity to try to actually go and do a proper, because in Denmark, if you tour, you're lucky if you stay in a hotel room overnight, because it's such a small country. You can literally drive out, and so we were always like in a sprinter van, So it's not really, even if you play a big festival, you almost certainly go home to sleep in your own bed at nighttime. Yeah, so that was Atomic Kid in 2004, and then 2005 it was Girls Aloud. I don't know if I should. So let's just keep talking about all this stuff.
So interesting. I want to hear. I don't even know this myself. I've known you for years, and I don't know your full story. So you.
Okay. And then so then that Gary again. We had a band. We were like 4 people. So we were 4 people. So we had drums, keyboards, and then another guy playing actually guitar, like this.
Okay. Yeah.
But also playing bass. And everybody would playing different instruments, and everybody could produce, do like backing tracks and stuff. So we would all kind of help each other out, and we were a good little group of people there. So we did Atomic Kid, and then we did Girls Aloud. Yeah. That's where I met my wife Chloe, which we are now married and have 3 kids. Hey, she was a makeup artist, known as the 5th member or the 6th member of Girls Aloud. And then I think we kind of met there. Then I went back to Denmark, and I was, at the same time I'd done all that stuff. You know what it's like, you get like little pockets of work, like 3 or 4 or 5 months. I had a studio with some friends, and we were writing music for, like pop star, voice people like that. So we were writing songs, and we were doing music for commercials. And then we had our own kind of, I was doing sessions, and then we had our own band called Peter Max. There's another guy called Max. We won this competition like on the BBC radio, where you put your music in and they go, yeah, you win and whatever. So luckily there's no evidence of that anywhere.
I'm going to try and find it.
Yeah, see if you can find that. It was quite funny. But yeah, and we wrote some stuff. We had some hits and whatever with some other people, and which was nice, but it never really kicked off, when you're kind of bobbing along for us. And I turned down a tour again with Gary in 2006 with Il Divo, actually, a world tour, and I was like, it's not my kind of music, and I wanted to do my own thing in Copenhagen. And in the meantime, of course, I met Chloe in 2005, so we were kind of starting to see each other more and more. So then I decided to move over in 2006, got a job in a pizza place as a waiter, made $3.50 an hour because I turned this tour down and made a veil. Luckily for me, they asked me again in 2007 to do Il Divo, and I then said yes, and took it as a challenge to play nylon string guitar. So, and that was a world tour, a proper big world tour, starting Kuala Lumpur, rehearsal for 3 weeks, and I just got thrown at the deep end with all the nylon string stuff, but it was great. So we did that, and then came home. 2008 then was Westlife. They had the farewell tour or whatever, and then 2009 did we do another Il Divo, or was that Tom? No, that was Tom Jones. We started with Tom because he wanted to have that band that he had from 2003. So we started doing that. That was cool. We did a tour with him, and then to sort of in between all of this stuff, we did like bands like Blue and all sort of other things, and
You've
this was
played
quite
with
fun.
Celine Dion, haven't you?
With who?
Celine Dion.
I haven't played with Celine Dion, but I've met her a couple of times, and I've been in a lift with her a couple of times. But I've never played with her. But we played with Il Divo. Il Divo, we warmed up for her at Croke Park.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was quite funny. She's quite funny. Yeah, we in Canada somewhere in a lift in this harbour hotel, walking in, and there's just, you're going, what? I've had many crazy experiences with Hank Marvin, Tom Jones, and somebody else in a hotel somewhere, and you're just going, what? You come over and say hello. It's like crazy experiences. I did my last tour in 2015 in Germany with a German artist, and then I kind of had enough because my youngest daughter was born while I was on tour, and I watched it on FaceTime from the hotel room in Düsseldorf, and I just, when you just go, okay, bye then, I'll see you in a month's time. And I was like, I've had enough of this for a little while. And then I ended up here at Andertons, and that whole thing sort of became a thing. But that was and now here we are, 5 years later, almost 6 years later, we're here. And I probably play more guitar now than I've ever done before.
Before we get on to like Anderton stuff, I had a few questions about how much touring you've done in life. And I know from conversations I've had with you, there's definitely been, you say you've got all these amazing stories, and there's definitely some highs, and there's a reason why so many of us musicians, more like my age, want to go for these world tours. But I know that there's also, you mentioned then you missed your first child's birth. There's a heck of a lot of sacrifice that comes with it. And I just wondered what you would maybe, like, looking back on that part of your life now, is there some things that you've really learned that you go, I wish I'd have known that before I went into that? And do you feel like it was worth it? Like, do you ever regret any of that? Any of the, missing out on family life for a bit, or was it just amazing?
Well, see, the family life thing, I was there for the 2 first births, and then the third one I missed.
Okay.
But I, and then I was of course there for the bit where you make
right.
Almost out of it. But having the time, I do live my life kind of way, so I don't want to look back at it to go, I regret that bit. I mean, there's 2 people in life you have to make happy. I saw that on TikTok or wherever it was. Your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. Those 2, you have to look forward and see what we do, and then look backwards and see, have I done what I wanted to do, and I don't think I regret it. I mean, yes, I missed some stuff with the kids and some family stuff, but we kind of worked it out in a good way. And then you got, when you're touring, you might tour for 3, 4, 5 months or 3 months. I think was the longest thing I did, 3 some months. But then you're home for 2 months, 3 months, where you get lots of time to spend and actually proper spend with. It's not just if a dad, or a mum for that matter, goes to work every day and comes home at 5 or 6 o'clock. You only get to see the kids that in the morning, maybe, if you don't, unless you leave the house really early. And then, so, I've had time to do it, and also, I mean, traveling the world more than once is for free, and getting paid for it is it's pretty cool. I hate saying blessed because I'm not that way inclined, but I'm definitely been lucky. I think we all have. If I look back, if I look back when I was like 16 and I started music college kind of thing at 16, very young, I never ever looked ahead and thought, what am I going to do when I'm 25 or 26? At 27, I'm going to stand on the stage in Tom Jones or whatever. I can't remember how old I was, something like that. I never looked ahead and thought, I see myself there when I'm 32 or something. Never. I literally just went along because I think there is just a path. And every time you do open a door and then you go through it, and then it is almost like it's. Yeah.
So
what do you call it?
Did you never have a final goal? What were you following? Just trying to obviously it's like grafting when you're working that hard and when you're on the
Yeah.
surely there was an aim, or was like what was kind of keeping you going? What made you
I just like music. I like to play guitar. You know, I like
just the
seeing people. I just like, yeah, it's just great. I mean, when you get the good messages from people online on the different things, it's really nice to see when people go, oh, you really inspire me to pick up the guitar. Or, you know, I've been through some bad times, but watching you guys or following you on the Instagram, whatever it is, makes a big difference. You know, I think that's the main thing for me personally, to be happy what I do, because I couldn't see myself doing a job for the rest of my life not liking it, and then looking back going, why did I do that? Why did I stay in that job for 25 years when I could have done something else? And I think a lot of people never find, I think everybody's got a talent, right? I think whatever it might be, whether it's singing or it's guitar or, you know, it's just, I think a lot of people never find it, sadly, because they go to school, and then the school is like a factory, and you have to learn all these things that you might never, you know, I think when you're 12, 13 years old, people already has got a thing they're good at or something but then the school just goes, instead of going, what are you good at? That, good, let's push you in that direction. I was lucky enough to be in a school that would push me in that direction. Right. And I had parents that went, you know, I remember getting, what is it, like high school here? I got the 2 letters the same day going, you can get the music thing or you can do the school thing. Our parents just went, do what you feel you should do. If you want to do it, we'll support you. And just remember, you can always go back and do the school thing in 2 or 3 years if you're not happy with that. And I just went, music.
I wonder whether that's why you've been as successful and had the opportunities you've had, is because you have just gone, I'm just going to take and do the things that make me happy and that I enjoy. And I think so much people are like, yes, but if I do that, will that then be a stepping stone for getting me here? Or, oh no, I need to do this because that will get me to there. And I think, especially in the UK, we do have this mentality in this school system of like, we have to almost fit ourselves in a box and be on a very thought out process and path. And I know I've been the same. I know when I was working with you at Andertons and I'd chat to some of the team, they'd be like, I don't know, like, you know, I'd ask someone's opinion. They'd say, well, do you want to do it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like, surely, is it the right thing to do? Is it like, just follow your heart? And I think that's definitely...
People are scared. I think a lot of people are scared. Young people are scared. I mean, I've got my kids doing homework, maths homework, and me and Chloe going, what is this? You know, when am I ever, I don't mean it in a bad way, because school is great and you need to learn stuff, that I get that. But it's like, I'm not saying people shouldn't go to school, you know, but I think I see kids nowadays not enjoying being kids. And my kids, it's like, just go out, man. We live in Somerset. We got the hills and go out, do some stuff, you know. I love doing things. I love learning new things all the time. I love meeting people, and I think maybe that just helps. You know, I could be a miserable bastard like probably everybody else can, and I can have shit days, and you know, I can be depressed and I can be down and all that stuff. But you know, guitar always helps me in a way to play. Music always helps. You know, we do stuff for the Teenage Cancer Trust as well. We had a meeting with them today, and seeing those guys that we help them, it means a lot. You know, that the kids has got this, and actually we are helping to give kids something, you know, and any of that stuff. Just, I don't, you know, money, yes, you have to make money. It's sadly, it's just the way of life, that if you don't have money, you can't eat and you can't get clothes on your back and all that stuff. So you can't really get away from that, you know. Also pay the tax, man. It's one of the things, one of the advices I would give to musicians out there. So if I want to be a musician and I want to do these big tours, what do? Put money aside to the tax man. I've made that mistake.
A bit of a shock when your return comes.
Yeah, you have to, especially if you start making better, you know, don't splash it out, just put it to one side.
Great advice. There we go. That should just be it.
It's number one advice. It's number one advice I can give to. That's probably one thing I regret. If I look back on it, I wish I put money aside at tax. But sometimes it's difficult, you know, and that's the touring that's the kind of the bad thing about touring. The thing is that you're lucky to get 6 months of touring, or let's say 4 or 5 months of touring a year. Then what about the next 6 months? And if you have a big gig or something, a tour, people think you are still away. I still get people saying, "Oh, you see, Tom Jones is playing at this festival over there. Will I see you?" I'm like, I haven't played with him for like 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so and then you spend the money that you have saved up, and so rent, and it goes quick.
Learn to budget, people. Learn to budget.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll have a little chat now about Andertons. So I've explained roughly kind of, you know, Andertons is a huge online kind of shop, and it is a physical in Surrey in the UK. Guitars primarily that you sell, but you sell many other things. I worked with Andertons for a few years, and that's how I know Pete. Pete, since kind of 2015, has headed up the YouTube space that they've built. So you do anything from reviews to silly challenges to all sorts of stuff. So I wanted to start this segment off by doing a quick fire round. It's literally like 8, but just quick snap. Okay, so are you ready? Spotify or Apple Music?
Apple Music.
Okay, Beach Boys or the Beatles?
Beatles.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Beach or forest?
Oh, beach.
Beach? Ooh, okay. No cheese for the rest of your life, or no guitar pedals?
No cheese.
Cheese, okay. The UK or Denmark?
Oh, that's not fair. Oh, that's not fair. I mean, home is where the heart is, and it's here, so UK.
Okay. YouTube or TikTok?
YouTube.
Okay. A night in or night out?
Night in.
Night in?
Yeah, I'm too old for that now.
Oh, yeah, but we've been in lockdown.
I know, but you know what? I would still stay in. I'm staying in, man. I don't care. I've been out enough.
Well, that was interesting.
Why is it interesting?
Well, do you know what? I'm sad that I get why you would pick no cheese, but cheese is my life, so it makes me.
I know, I love cheese.
So I thought it would be a really difficult one, that one, but you were very adamant on keeping guitar pedals, so okay. Going back to Andertons then.
Yeah.
Headed up the channel, it's kind of blown up. You have become pretty much famous. So I know you've told me stories of there's a guitar show in America called NAMM, and literally had swarms of people around you. You get stopped regularly, things like that. How is it working on the channel? Is it mental, or do you really enjoy it? Is there
at the end of the day, we get to play guitar for a living. I mean, we do a lot of work here, and I think at the moment there's only 2 people here. So there's Taylor and there's me, and then Lee, of course, the captain, or Lee Anderson, who his name is on the shop. And that's at the moment, in the last year and a half since the lockdown, it's only been us 3 to do everything. So that's editing, that is keyboard videos, it's drum videos on the 2 channels we have, and arranging what kind of videos to do, and which chat, all this and stuff. So it's a lot of work, and I work I work a lot, but it's worth it, because it's fun and I enjoy it. Yeah, what did we start with? In 2015 I started here with about 50 or 60,000 subs or something, and now it's 720. And it's not, it's a big channel, but for music stuff, right? But if you look at some other people have got even more than that, So, but because we are a shop and we review stuff, it's a big channel. And we've won again on Best Online Engagement NAMM 5 years in a row now as well. But we do put a lot of work into it. As I told you earlier, with 4 videos yesterday on the new Gibson Tom Murphy lab guitar, Gibson Les Pauls and SGs and all sorts of stuff, and then filming them, and we were done about 6 o'clock. Then I started doing the edits, taking all the data over and stuff and editing it up so it can go live the next day, the first video. So that's that's a lot of work, you know.
So you're not filming in advance, like 3 weeks in advance. It's like you're doing it, it's going up. You got quite a quick turnaround on everything.
Yeah, sometimes we do film in advance. You know, we'll make sure that we've got stuff, and as you know, there's stuff that's embargoed that can't be go out till a certain date and all that sort of stuff. So we'll film that in advance, you know. But sometimes it is literally, oh, we have this thing that needs to be done now. Can we have it done later on? And we do have that quick turnaround on it. And everybody, of course, I remember a friend of mine who used to work for Future Publishing. When I started doing these Andertons videos, he was like, we don't understand how you managed to do all of these videos. This is 5 years ago on your own and push them all out. It's just unhuman to do it. And I probably dock it a bit for my own, you know, it's rot to your own back because you work so hard on it and you want to do so well. And all of a sudden it just becomes the norm that you can film 20 videos a week and having one video out every day. I mean, I don't know how many other channels puts as many videos as we do live all the time.
Do you really enjoy it, or is there some days where it is hard work? Or, you know, obviously we've spoken a bit, you know, before we kind of pressed go on this conversation. We were talking about how, you know, there's always going to be negativity when you come to some sort of social media. Has there ever been times where you've gone, oh, I don't think I can do this anymore, or have you always loved it?
Of course there are. Of course there are days where you go, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I can't be asked to do another guitar video about some guitars that you actually done already, but now it's just the 2021 models, which is exactly the same as almost as last year, you know. You get the trolls, excuse me. But we've learned to ignore it. Yeah. But it's incredible how people like to moan over free stuff, which I just don't understand. And at the end of the day, man, we have good fun. And yeah, as any other job, there are difficult days, and some days you come in and you're not in the mood to do it, and then you get some good guitars and you play something and it's inspiring, or then it's really inspiration is the key to keep going, you know.
Have any influences now? I mean, I know you love John Mayer. Is there anyone? Because so for people who don't know Pete and haven't followed the Andertons journey, Pete and Lee, who run the channel, have been trying to get John Mayer involved in the channel for years and years and years. And you actually met him, and he knew who you were. And he let you backstage at his O2.
At the O2, yeah. So we met him at NAMM, and there were so many people in there. He was launching his new Silver Sky colors or whatever, and there was like probably 200 dealers in this room at the PRS stand. And then he just goes, you know what? I don't want to start here and yap about my guitar colors because it's just new colors, but I would like to say hello and to everybody in the room and say thank you, and take a selfie and chat with everybody. And we were like, oh my God, there's so many people. I don't know if we're gonna. And we were chatting to people, and before we knew it, we were up there with him, and then he was like, next time we come over, he's like, let's play a game of who here knows who the other people are, something cryptic, he said. And then he's like, I know exactly who you guys are. So, and he watches it, and he really appreciates what we do. But yeah, so we met him, and then he was gonna come here and do an interview, but he was at the O2, but didn't realize actually how far away the O2 is from Andertons, and it was like the last couple of gigs, and I was like, it's probably not going to happen because it's too far. Anyway, he said, but come out to the show and come backstage, and we went backstage to see him, and he was really cool, and we got tickets and all of that stuff. Went to the after party, which was strange, but how did you enjoy the show, guys? And I said, yeah, but you did mess up in that one song with that riff. And he went, you see the band going, oh. And then he laughed, and then the band laughed. It's just one of those situations where I just told John Mayer that but I said it in a jokey way, you know. He of course got that it was a joke.
Appreciated that you'd noticed. Most people probably they wouldn't care if you just played any old thing. They'd be like, oh. Whereas at least you noticed, and he's like, well, at least you were listening.
Yeah, he did actually make a mistake. That's why I pointed out. I don't really have any heroes as such where a lot of people go, I want to play exactly like John Mayer or exactly like Stevie Ray, or I want to, but then you're not you. You know, I think that's another thing that a lot of people miss, to be themselves, and maybe take inspiration from a lot of singers or piano players, whatever it might be. Don't be someone else. Be the best you that you can be. You know,
you've got to find your own authenticity, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is me? You know, what do I do? And of course, you're going to be naturally influenced by people, but
that's a good thing. I think to be influenced by people and players there's so many good musicians out there in the world. And I think now that we've got Instagram and all this different stuff on YouTube, they're all coming up to the surface. And I think if you can take people, send them back in a time machine, you know, a lot of them would just wipe the floor with all of these Clapton and B.B. King and all these. I mean, they are icons and massive inspiration to me, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here today. But I would never make myself play like B.B. King or Freddie King or any of this. But I like to take bits from it, but make it mine, you know, because getting the hit, you know, who stands on the stage now and plays guitar solos and sing a song? There's not many of that, like Clapton or, you know, Mark Knopfler. Those guys are kind of going away, you know. A place that plays arenas or the big gigs, there's not many of them left, you know. Ed Sheeran, but again, he's a singer-songwriter and he is a guitar player, but not it's not the same way. He rips a solo, you know, and you go, oh my God, yes.
My face has just melted off.
Yeah. It's so, and that's inspiration is the key, I think. And then having a good sense of humor and having a good time. I mean, how long have we got here on this planet? You know, how long have we got? You know, I've lost a lot of friends this year to all sorts of things and family and stuff. And you can't just go around moan. I know I can be moany, but you can't. You have to do what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I really hope that one day that John Mayer will step foot in that studio. Let me tell you, I really hope so. But one thing that I guess for a lot of people and maybe a lot of young players, maybe one thing people aspire to have is the fact that you have a signature pedal that is like your own. So I know this was quite a few years back now, but it's still out there and you still buy it and everything. So you joined with Thorpe, didn't you? And you created pedal called. How the heck did that come about? Like,
I mean, I think that we sold almost 2,000 of those now, which is incredible. I can't thank people enough for buying it and liking it. You know, it's incredible that you put something out there and people like it. I mean, I don't have my name on this pedal. It's called a Dane on the box, on the outside of the box, because I didn't want anything that was I wanted somebody to go, oh, that's a great pedal. Who's Danish Pete? Whatever. I just want people to know that it was buy it because it was a great pedal. I didn't have to necessarily know who I was. Or I am, because all I am really is a guy on YouTube, you know. But I think
so much more than that, Pete.
No, but it is. So the new thing is, you know, that signature gear. It was funny. There was a thing with Paul Reed Smith. He was talking about, you know, you can't ignore influencers. I hate that word, but like people on YouTube, people on Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff, and artists on there, you can't ignore them now because there's such a big part of products and launching products and playing your instruments that you just cannot ignore it. And artists, you know, when I play a tour and I'm playing, you know, I play a stadium tour and there's 80,000 people, no one will know who the guitar player is. Maybe a couple of people that goes, you know, I like the band and they'll take pictures and it's a great guitar player. You can't sell a thing if nobody knows that.
If they asked you again, or other companies asked you, would you do it again? Have you like?
Yeah, I mean, there's. I mean, I would. It's really cool to do it. I believe that if you do develop a product with someone, you need to be so happy with it that you want to use it yourself. Otherwise, there's no point in doing a signature product, because then it's just like, oh, I just need the money. You know, if John Mayer did his Silver Sky guitar and he didn't use it, he never used it, then it's not, it needs to be so good that you want to use it and never take it off your board or never not plug into that amp or whatever it might be. And that's not why I do it. I don't do it as long as my kids can eat and we can have a roof and we can pay the heat and the bills, you know, and do a holiday and all that stuff. Of course, it's nice to get a little bit extra, but I was going back to saying that having this Justin Guitar, you know Justin Guitar?
Yes.
He's so a lot of people, he does online tuition and does books. He puts it in a way that he says, you know, you have to see it like a bathtub. You have a big bathtub and you got all of these little taps around it that's dripping in all the time. So even when you're asleep, it's still dripping, you know. So, you know, I get a tiny bit of the pedal cells. So even when I'm sleeping, you know, I can sell a pedal here and there and then maybe make a little bit extra. And that's how you have to do it as a musician, you know. But it's so difficult to be a songwriter. And I mean, Ariel Posen, Joey Landworth goes out on tour and you have to sell t-shirts and merchandise, all that stuff. Otherwise, you know. Yeah. And it's sad. It's sad because you should be able to get paid to pour your heart and soul into a piece of music. It's no different than a painting, if you ask me. And that painting, you can just go, I painted that, I want 50,000 for it, or I want 2 million for it. And then you hang it up in a gallery and somebody's gonna go, oh, that's amazing, here's 2 million. Yeah. Here's my song that I poured my heart and soul into and spent weeks in the studio. And people go, I don't want to pay 99p for that.
I know. And
then Spotify goes, oh, here's 0.0, or the record companies, you know.
People will say, you know, I've had people say like, why are you not earning all this money? Or why have you not gone viral yet? And I'm like, because people aren't sharing it. I ask people to share. And for whatever reason, and you know, I do it myself with other creators, is there's just so much stuff going on in the world now, and with how quick we, you know, flit through our Instagram or whatever, we just, to grab people's attention and get people to share, it's so hard.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's constant.
Rubbish.
Yeah. You're saying, you know, you do too. It is rubbish, but and it's a fight out there. You know, there's so many that does it, and some of the people who get success, you might go, well, I don't know why is this person, I don't understand or whatever. But it's just, I guess it's hard work, and you know, it's just like who you know, and I think also not to care too much about it, but still care. You know, you care enough that you want to put the work and the effort into doing videos. I mean, the amount of stuff we do here, you know, staring at screens all day and into bright light and all that stuff, you know, and drive hours and whatever. But you don't, if you care too much, it's going to drag you down. Because if you look at people and go, why is this person? You know, I know we do, and sometimes I do myself. But we should be happy for these people instead, and then move on and then do our thing. Don't try to copy anyone else. Then you'll never get success.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I wanna finish today on a bit of a high, and my last question for you was, if you had 3 standout moments of your whole career so far, and it can be anything, what would they be?
3? Yeah, there's been a few. We did a gig. We played with Lionel Richie, Blue, where we played Easy at the Emirates Stadium, and it was just the one song, but I played that solo, and Lionel Richie was there on his piano, and I was playing, and he was like playing the piano. That's a pretty huge moment. Then, you know, playing at the Berlin Olympic Stadium, where it was just lightning and rain like that coming down, was pretty cool in front of like 80,000 people. And played. I mean, there's definitely more. And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go, why didn't you say that? Because that was pretty cool.
Have there been any moments that weren't playing? For example, have you ever met anyone famous who you had a really cool moment with, that you were like, yeah, I had a drink with blah blah blah? Or I mean,
when I was talking before, I think I think it was Manchester in a hotel, and it was Cliff Richard, it was Hank Marvin, and it was Tom Jones, and we were in the hotel bar. Oh, they were standing over there, and I was over here trying to get a drink in the bar, and Tom goes, hey Pete, come over here, I want to meet someone. And then I walked turn around and there's Hank Marvin, Cliff Richard, and Tom Jones, and I had stood there and had a drink with them and talked to them about the whole thing. Oh, and then there was another cool one in Wales where Robert Plant said that I sounded like Jimmy Page back in the day when I played the guitar, which was pretty cool.
Casual.
It's one of those.
Can you put that down, or can I just record?
Can I just film you? Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Wow.
That's, those kind of moments have been some where you just literally talk to people and you go, what am I doing? How did this happen?
Crazy.
And grab the life by the horns.
Indeed, that's the main thing. I think the thing that you've spoken about so many topics and amazing things that I hope people take away from this, but I feel like the main message that you're giving here is just flipping enjoy it.
Yeah. Be happy. I mean, there's one thing I remember somebody saying that I did when I was like 16. We had a band called Nature's Perfect, and we were doing this album, and we had this guy who had a studio, and I remember somebody said that we never said please or thank you to this guy. We never said thank you, and that stuck with me ever since when I was like 15 or 16. You can get far with saying please, thank you, and be nice. You can get very far. And then of course, when you then play or sing, you just have to be able to get on with people. I mean, I've worked with bands where there have been 17 people in the band, and then maybe 12 dancers, and all on the stage at the same time. But if you have to be able to get on with all of these different personalities, it's just so important.
Yeah, for sure.
And give people chances, man. If people do something for you, nice things, do something for something else. It doesn't cost you anything, I really believe that karma kind of thing,
Defo.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the channel, and good luck with everything. Maybe one day we can be in the same glory that Andertons channel is in. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and let's do another session soon, please. We have got it planned.
Great. Thank
you. Thank you. Bye.
Well, we really hope you enjoyed that. It was such a pleasure to talk with Pete. He's got such interesting stories, and so I really hope you found that interesting and insightful. If you did, give it a little thumbs up below and leave us a little comment in the comment section. We love getting a conversation going down there. Also, make sure to check out Pete and check out the Andertons channel. That will all be linked in the description box. If you enjoyed this content and you want to see more of it, then please do join the Ivy Grove community and press that subscribe button, hit that notification bell and get involved. We do interviews, tutorials, but mostly we do our music covers, and we do them weekly. So until the next one, we'll see you soon. Bye.